welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast. And I'm glad to say that we had technical issues. We've managed to sort those out, and now we're streaming live on Facebook Live. So, Hichame Moubarak, thank you so much for joining us on the show. It's an absolute pleasure to have you back on the game, and you are a legend.
I don't know, but thanks for the invite. It's a real pleasure to attend. I think that's the third time with you guys. Yeah, we have had a quite good moments on the last two first podcasts, and thanks for your invitation that came recently.
I couldn't help but get you on the show because you've gone through so much, and yeah. we can briefly touch on because you were going to do this around, I think it was 97 kilometers that you were going to run with the Quest one. So we can briefly talk about the Quest that you've done, because I didn't get to speak to you after that. But that was amazing too, right? So what was that?
Yeah, the Quest was about an ultra triathlon, first time done in Qatar, and it consisted of it was a reverse actually triathlon. It consisted of running 90 kilometers on day one, and then on day two, the team did 225 kilometer cycling, and the day three was 100 kilometer cycling with 9 kilometer swimming. So it's the same format as the Ultraman in Hawaii, where the championships are taking place there, and we just twist it with our pinch of Qatar test, running into the deserts with these rocks. And the guys there, we were doing it as 3 guys, individual, me, Abdulaziz Al-Tamimi, and Abdullah Al-Kabi, Qatari guys, very famous in triathlon world here in Qatar. And 3 of the guys, they were a relay team. One with us, Hamis on the run, Raber on the cycling, and Fahad on the swimming. All of them, all these 5 guys were Qatari with me, and we did great because we finished it, and it was quite an amazing experience last year. We did that in November 2019. Yeah, so we may do it again in 2021, maybe, we never know. So.
A lot of people are going to say you're all crazy. It's like, but the one thing that I love about your group, and it's a camaraderie. It's like how you're all helping one another to achieve your goals.
Yeah, you're right. It's I'm quite a wild animal in the sense that I'm quite alone in my world stuff, but definitely when we connect with other guys and other athletes, in these games, and when the challenge is coming and it's never been done, there is always an excitement, and connections are just made naturally. So, but yeah, community is here. Qatar community exists definitely, and it's something that we need to cherish and definitely nourish with all of our experience. I have some experience, other athletes have experience, and I strictly believe that if we all put in these things together, it is going to grow. That's for sure. So yeah.
So can you, before we get on to the next subject that we're going to talk about, is could you tell us what you exactly have to do for just one Ironman? What is it that you've got to do on a daily basis?
Yeah. So Ironman distance triathlon are divided into two formats. You have one half Ironman, which is generally called the 70.3. 70.3 stands for miles, 70.3 miles, which is around 113 kilometers. And the full Ironman format, which is 140.6 miles. What I did is the half Ironman. It consisted of doing 1.9 kilometer swimming, followed by 90 kilometer cycling, 90, and then followed by 21.1 kilometer running, which is a half marathon. And all these 3 disciplines in Qatar, of course, starting the swim around 9-10 o'clock and exposing myself to the heat, extreme heat, to reach a heat of about 54-55 degrees on the cycling, and then hit the run with some humidity over there on the other side of the journey. So that's one day triathlon that I was experimenting.
Most people would have found it very difficult to have done one day. They train, the amount of training. Could you tell us what, just for one, the amount of training that people go through just to do one triathlon, Ironman?
I remember my first 70.3 Ironman. I did that in 2016, I think, or 17. I trained 6 months, almost 5 to 6 months for it. And it's about, going from 6 to 7 hours of training per week until 14 to 15, 17 hours of training per week, which consisted of maybe, let's say 6 kilometers of swimming per week, hours of cycling, and some significant block, and the goal is really to ramp up the training in terms of preparing the body, and not making sure that it's still intact. You're happy when you train, and you are you start your challenge or your race healthy and injury free. That's really the key. Yeah, but it's that kind of amount. Yeah.
That's if you're doing one of these races. You went and done 7 of these races in consecutive days. Did you realize what you were going to be putting yourself through at the beginning?
After the quest, the Qatar quest, the Ultra Triathlon, I set up. I'm always in search, of new things to do, going to some weird stuff. And after the quest, I realized that I've been exploring, my mind into over distance and things into my mind, opening new windows and thinking about new approach. But the first time I thought about the quest was to do the quest in summer. That was the original idea. And then several factors came. Many people should have been coming from all around the world, but unfortunately did not happen. And we finished to do it in November in Qatar last year. So I was always thinking that, damn, I really miss this heat factor into this triathlon game. So that's how I thought about the Epic 7 challenge, which is to do it into the heat. And why 7? Because 5 is fun, but 7 is better, So it's a week, So I just said, why not to do 7 and see how it goes? I mean, I always thought that if I do 4, 5, and I collapse after 5, that's it's written like this. But I was not having anything in my mind in the sense that I need to do this 7, just set up a figure and work around it and get your body ready, and that's it. It's all about making no pressure on me.
Okay, so you're at the beginning of the challenge. What's going through your mind when you're getting ready for the swim? What is it that's going through your mind, knowing you've got to go 7 days?
First of all, I trained for it. I trained for it during 6 months, from January to the 10th of July, which was the first day of day 1. 10 July. I simulate a lot, the swim, the bike, and the run. But it's always the body understand that I'm entering into race mode, into challenge mode. So it's always a shock, when you enter into day 1. So. Day 1 was the most difficult day for me out of the 7 because shock, because the water temperature was not expected to be that high, and I hit a lot of difficulties with the swim. Temperature of the water was around 42 degrees that day, and
wow.
I did not anticipate it. Yes, I do not anticipate it, and after 900 meters of swimming, I realized that my heart rate was a bit high, and I was boiling inside. Actually, I was boiling, and the effect of that boiling went all along the cycling, and I started to feel better in the middle of the run after that swim. So let's say around 4 to 5 hours after the swim finished. So many things went into my mind, you know, into saying, let's attack day by day. Let's think about hydration. Let's think about nutrition very closely, you know, because it's really not that easy, you know, to cycle and ride in this heat, you know. Even today, I went out and I said to myself, man, I mean, I still don't understand how I did this, you know. Today it's super hot, and I always think about how I was doing these things like 4 or 5 weeks ago, you know, and lots of noise inside my mind, you know, lots of this little voice telling me, you know, be careful, you know, it's hot, or make sure this, make sure that, you know. But I really have experience into this little voice talking to me, and I really make sure that it's not bother me that much. So that little voice was here to create my fear to increase. The game of that challenge was to shut down this voice and go through that fear. The fear was, let's say, from 0 to 10 in a range of 7, 8, you know. So the idea is like when you are bungee jumping, you know, you do your first bungee jump and you just jump, you know. And it was that type of thinking, you know, just do it, you know. Sometimes on that day one, I was not knowing how my body is going to react, you know, into this heat, you know. I was just looking at my heart rate. I was just watching and feeling my sensation, the body, and making close attention to what I'm drinking and eating. But I was really into some weird space at the day one, you know, the feelings that something is going to happen, you know, something bad, you know, not an accident, but it's not also something like I'm going to fall from the bike. But I never felt a disconnect between my body and my mind, never. I never felt any physiological issues, never. But some, you know, the mood, the mind mood, and some weird sensation like, you know, when you are behind a reactor of a plane for hours, and that heat on your face, you know, at one point you just say, I'm fed up with this, you know, I'm just like, what's going on, you know? And the game was really to make sure that I was facing these things, and that little voice shut down, and going through these things, and you know,
there's going to be a lot of people right now, and I was one of them, where that voice in my head was a good person. I thought it was somebody that was protecting me, that was kind of, that was that. But you want to, because I read I was listening to, I say reading a book, I don't want to say I was reading a book. I listened to an audio book called Untethered Soul. And it was all about kind of that person in your mind is not always a good person. He's going to tell you your limitations. He's going to talk you into stopping. He's going to tell you that this isn't good for you. It's not always a good thing. And it was funny that you said that you tried to shut that voice down. Was that something that you have to learn at this level?
On all the challenge I went through since many years now, this voice is always there. On all the training, this voice is always there. For me, this voice is always putting me down. It's not a friend. For me, this voice is not a friend at all. It's not something like, oh, you know, my intuition's telling me, blah, blah, blah. For me, this voice is always trying to put me back into my comfort zone, always. So I'm always fighting this voice, in the sense that you can keep talking, you can say whatever you want, I'm going to do it, you know. And my mind at one point, maybe during day 2 and day 3 during this challenge, understood that it's not going to stop. So I'm talking to myself, you know, I'm not going to stop. So my mind voice telling, this guy is not going to stop. So why I keep talking to that guy? This guy is not going to stop. So it was just shut down, you know, it was just shut down. And after that fear and that voice shut down, this is the beauty starts, you know, this is where the new world experiments and my challenge starts. This is where my challenge starts. I felt that on my 4th deserts crossing. I felt that during the quest while I was swimming this 9K. When I was going on the other side of this noise, this is where I discover and I explore my capabilities. It's like I went back to where I finished the quest, you know? I went back where I left the quest, and opening more doors, exploring more, you know, and at the end of this Epic 7 challenge, I know myself, let's say 50, 60, 70% more instead of maybe 20%, like maybe the average of people. I believe that we all have capabilities. It's just that we don't use them, you know, at all. You know, this society is so designed around, you know, technology. Everything is at the click of, you know, fingertip. We don't move anymore. We don't push ourselves, you know. I did the quest, you know, because I could have done it, you know, in winter. I could have done it all night, you know. No, I personally, you know, try to make it into the heat, you know. I was in fear of it, you know. I was fear just a bit, you know, not in fear like hugely, but in fear in the sense like, man, I train for it, but there is some weird space, weird areas where honestly it's quite special, you know. When you are riding and you look at the bike computer, it's showing you 52, 54.6, you know, degrees, and your heart rate is still low, and you wonder how my heart rate is low, you know. I know that if it's low because I drink correctly, you know, but still, you know, there is still some signs that something is going strangely in this space, you know. I explore, you know, not something like a sports challenge. It was a mind challenge. It was more in the head, you know. The game was not about the body. I prepared the body for 6 months, you know. I know my body and my coach putting this together. I was ready for it, you know. I was ready to do 3-4 triathlon consecutively, but 7 with that heat. This is where the game was, you know, unknown, you know.
Just that information that you've said there about how you shut that voice down is going to help so many people, because that's the voice that everybody struggles with. It's like it is shutting that voice down, and it's believing in yourself that you can do it instead of listening to him. And he will go, like you said, he will go away if he just keeps on seeing you doing what you're doing.
It's definitely going away. But you know, to grow, you have to suffer. I mean, this is my philosophy. For me, I came from you know, a difficult background, and to grow, you have to suffer. That's my opinion. It's not. I could spend my life very easy, you know, things here and not being challenging myself and just, you know, having an easy life. But I decided to go and exploring myself. You know, in a way to explore myself, it took me to make sure that, you know, it cannot be with being into the comfort zone. You know, for me, you have to suffer. You have to put yourself into pain and suffering. There is no other way, you know. There is no other way. And through that, by you know, experimenting it, you know, going through the training through it, and like today, I bike 1 hour 45 minutes. It was super hot, and I felt after 15 minutes, I felt okay. I felt okay because I enjoy, you know, the nature. I enjoy the body, the position on the bike, you know. I was happy, you know. It's all about how you design this thought coming to your mind. If you're still saying to yourself, it's hot, man, you're not going to do anything. If you say to yourself, it's hot, what you can do to manage this heat, you can pour water on yourself, you can drink, you can think about, oh, I'm going to finish that and have a nice breakfast. You can think about, I'm going to nap after that, you know. Maybe this helps. That can be some tools, you know. But if you go through it, I can guarantee you that after 15 minutes, you are into emotion, and the body understand that it's okay. It's not going to stop. So I will just shut down, bike myself, and you know, the most important conversation. It's not the one that you are having with your friends or, you know, at work. It's the one you are having with yourself. That's the most important conversation on a daily basis. And that's the one that if you talk to yourself in a way that you don't give any room to that voice, and you make understand to that voice that you are in control of your mind and not that voice controlling you, trust me, this is where the beauty and this new world starts, you know. So this is where you discover that you have capabilities and you can do things and you can set up goals and you can you know, anticipate things into your life. And you know, if you set up to have to do your first 500-meter swim or your first 5-kilometer run, you can set this up, you know, by buying the shoes, putting environment around you, around running. You know, if you go for a 5K run, buying the shoes, buying the equipment. Forget technology, forget listening to music. You know, this is noise. All these things are noise. Set up yourself. Be alone. This is very important. Be alone. I really trust the group force, you know, and being part of a community. But what works for me is to be alone. You know, it's to be alone and time to time go for some group. You know, seeing some friends. You know, catching up with them, getting some news. But for me, I discover myself more by being alone. And there is another reason also, because I have my own trainings. You know, and my own sets of things to do and challenge to set up. So I make sure that I'm really discussing to myself, being alone, you know, it's very important. And you know, you just try, you just hit the first 1K and you will discover, yes, it's hard, you know, it's going to be difficult. And then at this point you say, I'm going to stop or I'm going to continue, or what people decide to do. This is that fraction of second, you know, this is just 1 second, only 1 second. This is where you decide, I'm going to continue or I'm going to stop. So if you're going to continue, there's one thing that you need to realize is that it's not going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy, sorry. It's going to be difficult. So the big question is, are you ready to go into a war against yourself? Are you ready to have pain and suffering? Because there's going to be pain, you know. If you have never run, you are going to have pain. If I go for a 250K challenge, I'm going to have pain for sure, you know. So am I ready for this, you know? Am I ready for that moment of my knee is going to feel like, you know, moving strangely, or my mind is going to shut me down, you know, and say, you are not capable of doing this, you know? Am I ready for this fraction of second? If you say to yourself, I'm ready to meet this moment, this is where, when you pass it, this is where you are going to go into the other side of that and be literally, I think, unstoppable, you know, unstoppable. And you do this 500 meter, you know, or this 5K, and then the next time you do 10K or 20K, you know, whatever.
So let's go back to your journey. You've come to the end of the first day, okay? Yeah. You've got parts of your body you're feeling. You know that you've got to do this another 6 more days. What were you feeling after you finished the first day?
On the first day, I had 2 seconds of thinking to stop it. On day one, in the middle of the bike, I had 2 seconds of thinking to stop there, because it's crazy, you know. But I cannot remember very in detail. But I was down and I was not being able to hang on anything in my mind, you know. And something happened. I think a thought. I still cannot remember what was that thought, you know. And that thought took me up like a ladder, you know. I was grabbing that throat and I went out of that, and let's say 10 seconds after I was back to it, you know, something like this. But it's very, very small time, like 2 seconds. I mean, day 2, day 3. I mean, day 2, I was definitely getting the lessons of day 1. So day 2, making sure I sleep well, I drink okay. But something happened on day 2 is that I wake up with lack of appetite, you know. I was not able to eat anything. So I think that was the effect of the heat on day 1, and maybe my body understanding that I'm going to do it again. So think about that. I want to eat, I'm hungry, but my mind controlling myself saying, no, I'm not going to allow you to eat because I want to keep this energy into focusing, protecting myself, you know, my body, you know. So I was, I remember I was in front of the spoon eating some oats or something, maybe 1 spoon, and after that, nothing else, you know. And I was thinking, man, I have to do a 70.3 Ironman distance triathlon on day 2, and I cannot heat, it's very important to heat. I cannot fuel myself correctly. It's gonna be tricky, So I say, let's give it a chance to the swim. Maybe after the swim, generally when I swim, I'm hungry a bit after the swim, this appetite comes there, but I was already thinking the water is hot, and all these things. And again, same story, this voice is coming up again, and in general, I felt that after the swim, day 2, day 3, I was getting a bit of appetite, and I was taking that luck and that opportunity to get some mango or coconut water over there, and get anything I can as a fuel, into my mouth and get something there. But it's very strange how the body know that you are going for 7 days. He knew that already, and how the body trick you into certain ways to first of all make you stop. And when the mind understand that it's not going to stop, it try to find other ways, to put you into difficulties, like lack of appetite, injuries, pain, type of things, always. This is just crazy, I was saying to myself, you're never going to let me being happy in this challenge or what? Never, I think I felt a bit of happiness in day 5, I think. Day 5, day 6, day 7 was the last day, you wake up and you say, I did 6, so let's go. Day 7, it's fine. But I felt a bit of appetite on bit of happiness on days 5 and 6. Something happened to me also on day 3, I think. I was heading to the swim, 9:30, and I was a bit crying in the car. I was crying in the car in the sense that, damn, I was not crying I was in fear of doing it again, I was crying I cannot control my body and my emotion, I was in such deep cave, in the sense that, again, the mind is trying to trick you, to put you into a situation that challenge you, is challenging you all the time, putting you there, making you think about you are not capable to do it, I knew that I was trained. I knew that my body was ready. So always what's happening is that I was moving, my legs was moving, but sometimes my mind and my body was not in sync, I was disconnected by a few seconds, because I was always making sure that this voice was not taking the control of myself, I was always taking the control of that voice. So let's say my body was on the bike or swimming or running, and the body itself was moving, the bike was pushing the pedal, but I was working on my mind. So to the point that I was not remembering what I was doing on the bike, like eating or drinking. Sometimes I was forgetting what time do I drink, what time do I eat, because I need, to drink and eat with a certain frequency every 7 or 10 minutes, especially. And I was forgetting that time. Oh man, I cannot remember this thing because I was so much focused on my mind, making sure that this voice was not taking the control, So just to say really that even with my experience, that voice is always there. Honestly, that voice is always there. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
Well, I know that you had a bit of a hiccup on the third day where you got stung by something.
Oh yeah, another bad luck. Yeah, I was swimming and I know there was jellyfish, in the sea. Of course, we decided to go for open sea water, which is much difficult than pool. And I could have done this in a small pool with a rope, and go for the bike, but no. Well, we were lucky that this Semisma beach, North Beach, was open. So I was swimming, and I generally the jellyfish are on the bottom. I can see them. So I just swim on top of them, and it's okay. But that one, that day, a jellyfish was. I think I was just watching on my right, and some making sure nothing is there, because I faced a few months ago an issue with a shark in the north of Qatar. I was swimming in the open sea. Yeah, I met 2 sharks there, and I was 20 minutes far from the shore, and I was swimming very fast, and that I got a bad experience with this. So I know in Semisma I was close to the shore, but you know, this reflex and all these things are always coming up. You know, so I'm always scanning the area where I'm swimming. So, and that day, this jellyfish was not on the bottom, but it was in the middle of the level deep, you know, of water. And I see it in the last moment. So I was able to move my body the left side in order to let it go through my body on that side. But fortunately, it hits my feet, you know. So, and I felt it when it hit my feet.
What's it like being stung by a jellyfish? I've never
I get stung by jellyfish in Caribbean. It was really a nightmare, honestly. But this one was let's say pain between 6, 7 out of 10, you know. And most difficult is that I have to wear bike shoes after that. So bike shoes with the feet a bit swelling, you know. So I just wear my bike shoes, and you know, the scratch was open, and I knew that if I get some blood flow circulating into my body, that maybe will help, you know. I pour a bit of grapefruit seeds on it, you know, that was having with me, and water, and try to manage like this. Again, same story, shut down the voice in your mind and go through the pain. And you know, in these cases, you know, I'll use a lot of experience that I have from the quest or the deserts in Chile, Atacama. I was having the same issue over there. So I just use experience to go through these things. And when you have experience, you know, into that, you just say, oh, I know how to do and deal with these things. I know it's painful, that I'm going to go through that. So it's just something that you have to manage. But are you accepting the pain? Are you willing to live with the pain? That's the question. Always, it's always the same question. Otherwise, you stop, or you continue with the pain, and the pain at one point will disappear. And I believe that the pain disappears in this case with the blood flow in the middle of the bike, and the blood flow circulating through the body. Maybe my I don't know, immune system or system that detoxify the blood, you know, works good, and I felt better at the end of the bike and ready for the run.
So you were swimming on open sea, you were cycling on roads. Give us an understanding about the terrain where you're running, because you don't run on just roads. You're running on in the desert, right?
Yeah. The road was the Al Khor Doha road, the big loop, this highway, back to Semisma, and I was doing a small 3 loops in Lusail circuits over there. And no, the road, the running road, yeah, definitely not on this asphalt, you know, road. I decided to run into the desert just to get it as a Qatari test, you know, because the country is this. So, and I really believe that the triathlon run should not be into concrete here or road. It should be in the desert, you know. It's definitely more tricky. It's soft terrain. There is rocks, you know, it's tricky. You always have to look on the ground, making sure that you hit the ground in a certain way. Think about your running form, you know, the technique over there. And it's different. And you are in nature, you know, you are in nature. This is, for me, desert is nature. You listen to birds, you meet, I meet many foxes, you know, fox into the desert here, or, you know, insects, and you have many noise around and you feel happy. It's like, for me, running into the forest, you know, in Europe sometimes, you know. So when I hear that there is no nature here, there is plenty of nature in this country. Yeah. You just need to go out and can run in the mangroves over there. You can run along the sea in the fisherman village and see the algae there, or, you know, trees over there. This is huge, you know. It's really amazing, and nature allowed me here to be connected with myself and be happy, and, you know. So, but yeah, the run was on the desert, and we were trying to hit the Al Khor Stadium for the World Cup over there, and coming back. Yeah, a mix of terrain. It was really, really good, honestly.
So what was it like? And I want to touch on another subject, because you've mentioned it quite a few times, and I've seen some of your posts on, because I follow you on Facebook. you're into the food side. You show us a lot of your food that you're eating. How important was that? It's like, and what was the type of food that you were eating, or what was sustaining you through that amazing period?
Um, in general, I'm used to eat like on the swim. You cannot eat, of course. Before, basically a nice breakfast around 800 calorie. It depends on your diet in general, but with my lack of appetite, I was not able to eat anything. I mean, this is due to my physiological condition, and maybe the heat definitely. But I was managing between some mango. I was eating mango. I was eating, let's say, one mango after the swim, and then a bit of, let's say, half cup of orange juice after the swim. Then before the bike, let's say a cup of coconut water. During the bike, a mix of peanut butter, almond butter, and water, basically. Water with salt, because I lose, all of us, we lose a lot of minerals during the sweating process. So that's why you see some trace, like white trace here. This is salt. So I just need to refurnish. I mean, get back some salt through your water. I was allowing myself in the middle of the bike, a few minutes break, to have fuel there, like hummus. Let's say 2-3 tablespoons of hummus. I was finishing my mango, half mango on the other side there. Half liter of coconut water there also, and re-engaging into the bike. And on the run, basically, I was not eating nothing there on the run. I was just drinking a lot because of the humidity, taking a lot, after the heat of the sun. The point was to manage the humidity. It was a high humidity week that time, I remember. And, maybe halfway of the run, maybe a bit of something like to have chewing something, into the mouth, something like, very light stuff, like maybe an apple, half apple or something. So
Nasruddin, your friend, he was telling us about the food side of things was his enjoyment. That was how he was timing things, and when he was looking forward to that next surprise, and that was what one of his motivators was. So when you got back, did you just get, what was your favorite meal when you finished the days? Did you have something specific?
Yeah, pasta, right. Just pasta as it is, with some tomato sauce, type of thing. Chickpea pasta, lentil pasta. I'm not eating meat. I'm vegan, so I'm not eating any protein from meat or stuff. So spirulina, stuff like this, algae, chlorella, maca powder, type of things, type of superfoods there. We call it superfoods, but it's just high quality food, nothing that complicated, but just high quality food. And that's something, the heat, that's something that you cannot anticipate. The impact of the heat into the body into the fuel was huge. It was much easier to get liquid instead of solid things, So liquid like coconut water or water itself was much easier, than fuel. That's something that I was not knowing, the impact of the heat into the solid foods. But I was I was really happy when I was coming back home and get that solid foods, a plate of spinach with pasta there, and just making sure I was not. I was eating something, and not into quantity, but it was really quality food, and not huge calorie like crazy, maybe 500-600 calorie there, and thinking about making sure that you don't feed yourself too much. Make sure that you are allowing yourself to get appetite the next day, So, and sleeping a lot, sleeping was a huge part of it, like making sure that I have my 8 to 9 hours of sleep before each day, and getting ready. The mood on day 3, that day where I was a bit of emotion on the car, the mood was I was sitting on the, just sitting on my bed, just putting my feet on the ground, and I say, man, again and again and again,
Yeah.
again. That was, yeah, I went through some low moments, but it's part of it, I was not, jumping on the ground and let's go. And I was really, from the moment you wake up, you are really looking for resources, into making sure that you are moving, you are keeping that momentum, and making sure that you are engage yourself all the time, engage yourself into, prepare yourself, do not lose track, focus. It was a constant focus. The only, let's say, time when I was allowing myself to shut down, and taking it a bit easy, was when I was finishing, driving back home, having a massage, 45 minutes, 1 hour massage there, and eating. And then by the time I go to bed, boom, the mindset get back again, and being ready for the next day. I was having maybe 2 hours of easy time, in a day, 2 hours only.
How did you cope with each day? How did you cope with the pain from the day before? So the recovery, because you would normally give yourself a recovery after doing a race like just the one, but you were doing 7. How did you actually deal with the recovery side of things? You said a massage, but there must have been so much pain that you were feeling.
Yeah, my therapist told me, he did not say that to me during the challenge, but he told me that after the challenge, not to make me think about it too much, but he told me that my joints, ligaments, muscles, they were getting tight and tighter each day, to the point of day 6 or 7, he told me he never saw such tight muscles, He tried to release whatever he can, but he felt that it's getting harder and harder and harder. So massage was part of it, definitely. He's trying to release and get some blood flow there. And I was using also ice water therapy, submerging my body into the neck here to the ice water. It's a bit tricky if you don't pay attention on doing it very seriously and carefully, because it can shut you down in the sense that, it's like a shock. It should not be like a shock. It should be like a recovery process. So you have to submerge yourself very, very gently, and very, in taking time, to allow your body to acclimate. And sleep, definitely sleep. Sleep is a huge part of it. Definitely sleep.
That's going to be really important for people to understand, because it's like sleep is, sometimes you feel guilty for taking too much sleep sometimes, but if your body needs it, it's that recovery.
Yeah, I think sleeps allow me, of course, to recover, but sleeps allow the body digest the day during the sleep in a way that during the sleep, the body reshuffle like a puzzle, all these elements, and put myself into the mode that you have the experience of day 1. The body had the experience of day 2, day 3, day 4, So each day when I was waking up, the repair process, physiological repair process was made during the sleep. But there was also a mind, puzzling ongoing into the sleep. Definitely, I felt that when I was waking up, I was sharp sometimes. I was looking for some resources to set up my mind in certain way. Yeah. And also the heat, my body was getting hot and hot each day, So during day 3, day 4, I struggled a lot on cooling down my body. My body was hot under the AC. And, when you have a day at the beach, and when you go home and during a holiday, you go back home and you have that feeling of your body is super hot everywhere, It's not you have a burn, but your body cannot cool down, I got that on day 2 and day 3. So I focus a lot on getting sunscreen and, using the correct sunscreen on day 4, day 5. Yeah. So I was getting better. And, passing through all these things, day 5, 6, and 7, they were getting much easier. Yeah. Because I get used to all the difficulties, and honestly, the mind was not putting any more difficulties in front of me. I was I was telling, okay, I'm ready. Just put anything you want. I'm ready. Okay, what's the next difficulty you are going to put on me? What's the next? I'm ready. Just throw. It's like I train for life. I train for this challenge. It's not to challenge myself from doing 7 Ironman. It's to challenge myself into my life, into any bad news that will come into my life, and I will be ready for it. You receive that phone call sometimes, and the bad news come. I will not fall apart. I'm strong. I'm setting up my mind into being ready for such bad news coming up. It's not about sport. It's about life. It's about mindset. It's about it's about being ready for anything that life throws at you.
That's such an important factor, because it is you, and just through this COVID period right now, is it that when people say, look, there's people losing their lives and it's a really tough time, I understand all of those things. But what are you because most of us at my age, especially, I look back on my life and it's not always the happy times I've seen, it's the times that was tough that I appreciate and I take most satisfaction out of, because I got through those hardships. And those are the times that I look back on and with more fondness, because those were the things that I pushed myself through. And that's, I think, the period that I've gone through here, where I've pushed myself continually through this process. And it's true what you said. If you keep on using sport as that one that's going to motivate you, it does. You can get through anything. I think you can. I think nothing that you can't achieve out there. And you're just a true example. Coming to your last one, you said just now that the feelings that you had, there was nothing that was going to stop you. What was it like on the last day and the last moments of your challenge?
Wow, and that was, there is definitely an enjoyment over there. I was really happy. I was just like a kid. It's like a kid. It's that simple. There is nothing complicated. I'm just destroyed. My body is tired. I remember at the end I was walking like a guy drunk, who was just like left and right, and I cannot control my body anymore. But no, definitely not self-satisfaction, just unhappiness of accomplishment. Something like I was not being thinking that I can make it, and I made it. And I was also having a sense of watching myself when I was kid sometimes, or this thought, that it's like you do a reward into your mind, and you watch yourself kids, you watch yourself 5 years ago. 5 years ago, man, I was not doing all these things. I was on the couch watching TV, yeah. So it was, anything is possible. You can, as long as you set up your mind, anything is possible. But you need to be ready to have pain and suffering. But I'm also, the community around, the guys with me, pushing me, and making sure that I'm getting all the needs that I have, all the things that I need. It was just amazing.
You have such a camaraderie out there, and this is for Qatar. You've got such a community from a running and fitness perspective. It's like Nasruddin. I've mentioned just one, Nasruddin, yourself. It's like you all go out there and you're all trying to push that bar. You're trying to push it higher. And I'm surprised you didn't tell me that on the last day you were thinking about your next competition where you're going to push yourself 5 times as more. I know that's going to be with you. I know that's already going through your mind right now. But I know that you're doing it with others. I know that the camaraderie must have been tremendous. I saw you go out the other night. I saw it on Facebook, and it must have been special to be able to pay those people back to say, look, thanks.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. I told them we got a nice dinner a few days ago, and at the end of the day, when we are going to die and all these things, at the end of the day, what's going to rest? Memories, time. It's not about I did this, I did that, or I win a race, or I finished first or last, or whatever. As long as you did it, as long as you enjoy the process, as long as you made sure that you went down and up and you grow from all these things, and you make it as an individual, and you also make it by exchanging vibes with the other athletes. You exchange experience. It's not about numbers, my heart rate beat this one or this one. It's not about this. It's about enjoyment. It's about that feeling when you run high, or that feeling when you swim and you feel like you forget all your issues, or you think about, oh, I'm going to deal this in my life. I'm going to tackle this challenge or face that responsibility that I have to do. You are a better human being, or it's about getting things from these guys, they get from me and I get from them, and we exchange smiles, and we exchange growth together, energies. It's all about energies and vibes and positive things, and all the rest is just gadget, all the rest is just noise, all this technology stuff.
Hichame, I had Nasruddin on the show the other week, and we were talking about his tremendous effort from the top of Qatar all the way to the bottom. And he told us a story on the show. And he said that there was a time that he thought about kind of stopping or taking a rest. And it was a question of how much rest did he take? And you whispered in his ear or said something to him to say, if you don't get back up and start, you ain't going to do it. If you don't get back up now, if you don't get back running again, it's the end. And it was like, and he said, he was really complimentary about that was the one that pushed him on. I know that you're an inspiration to so many people out there. And the great thing about it is you're all inspirations to one another. And it was such a great story that he came out with, that you were there for him in the support team. It was brilliant.
Yeah. And that's definite sign we are just human being, We are not exceptional. We are not amazing, We are just human being working ourselves each day into this pain and suffering. He's training hard. He's doing things also. Many individuals as human beings are training hard, and that's a sign of being human being. You allow yourself to be down, and at that time he was down, and I was there. And we just connect at that fraction of seconds where you decide to say, oh man, I'm going to stop, I'm going to continue. I was there, and he was probably able to hang on something, on maybe a smile or maybe a eye contact, this fraction of second. And then from there, it's just back on. And yeah, it happens to me on the EP63 challenge, I think during day 6, or day 5 or 6. I remember I was also down, not like day 1, but I was at one point down, and watching these guys around me, coming from Doha with their family sometimes, and running with me. I say, man, no, I'm tired, but I'm suffering, I have pain. I was having an injury on my left feet at that time, and I just went through it. I cannot let them down because no. But it's a sign also that we are human being. We are human being. We are not exceptional. So anybody can do that. Anybody can do that as long as you train. So I just want to say that let's not look after excuses. We can all make a difference. We can all make a difference in the sense that if you set up a goal, reasonable goal, and then you gradually ramp up to things different, If you set up a goal and you are serious into it, happy into it, building into it, being happy, understand the process, making sure that you are healthy and injury-free. I mean, this is where the growth is, The growth is not doing the challenge or the race. The growth is the training, The growth is
I've got those moments where I've got the hairs on the back of my neck standing up on end, you saying that, Hichame. I am so honored that you've come on the show, and I'm so glad that the show's virtually ended on you saying exactly that. And I just want to reiterate where what you said more than anything else. Well, I loved all the story, but it's where you said that sometimes it could be just a smile, it could be just a kind of, come on, you can do it. That could make the whole difference, right? That's That's between success and failure sometimes. And I'm so glad and I'm so proud to know you as, and I do call you as my friend, because I'm so glad to know people like you are out there, because you are one of those. You're one of those that are making a difference in a huge, huge way. And I do congratulate you. I can't wait to see your next event, and I can't wait to have you back on the show again. It's been tremendous having you on there, and I know everybody's going to be rooting for you now, and they're going to be in there listening to yourself, everything that you're giving out. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been an absolute privilege. You're a top man, and thank you for all your messages.
Thank you for having me, Steve. It was a pleasure, and it's always a great opportunity to share experience and maybe inspire maybe other young generation, especially the young generation, into this Qatar community. Definitely, that's something I take very seriously. Definitely.
You're an inspiration, let me tell you. You're an inspiration. I love your stories, and I know that everybody else will be loving your story too, because the messages you gave are just brilliant. They're brilliant. Just listen to those things. Listen to how you get on. Just because everybody's going to go through at one stage, and it's that voice in the mind that's going to shut him down, as you said. Shut that voice down in your mind. It's like you can do it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we are, as human beings, we can do anything. Yeah.
Hichame, thank you so much for coming on the show. Everybody, thank you very much for joining us this week. It's been a tremendous weekend, and we've capped it off with Hichame. Hichame, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been brilliant. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for everybody for listening. See you next week.